Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is IMADUL from English Education Department 2019 of STKIP Hikmah, Surabaya. Today we will learn about anecdote text. In anecdote text, there are four aspects that we have to learn. The first is definition, the second is purpose, the third is generic structure, and the fourth is language feature. So let's go to the first aspect. It's definition. Check it out. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is IMADUL from English Education Department 2019 of STKIP Hikmah, Surabaya. Today we will learn about anecdote text. In anecdote text, there are four aspects that we have to learn. The first is definition, the second is purpose, the third is generic structure, and the fourth is language feature. So let's go to the first aspect. It's definition. Check it out. Here the definition of anecdote text. So the definition of anecdote text is a text which retells funny and unusual incidents in fact or imagination. Here there are funny and unusual. Some people say that anecdote text and spoof text is the same text, but the difference between spoof and anecdote text is here. In spoof text, we just can meet with funny. Also, spoof text tell about funny story, but here anecdote text is tell about funny and unusual. So not every single text of anecdote is funny, so it can be unusual incidents in fact or imagination. The second aspect is purpose. So here, anecdote text has two purposes. The first purpose is to share with others an account of unusual, uncommon, or amusing accidents. And the second purpose from anecdote text is here, to entertain the readers. So the third aspect of anecdote text is generic structure. Generic structure, here there are four generic structures of anecdote text. The first is abstract, the second is orientation, the third is crisis, and the fourth is coda. So let's move to the first generic structure. The first generic structure is abstract. Abstract here is signals that tells about unusual, uncommon, or an amusing accident. For example, how would you like to find a snake in your bath? A nasty one too. That's the example of abstract. The second generic structure is orientation. Orientation here is tell about how introduce the character, the place, the time, or whatever in the story. And the third generic structure is crisis. Crisis is provides detail of unusual, uncommon, or an amusing accident in anecdote text. And the fourth is, or the last is coda. Coda here is the reflection of the uncommon, unusual, or unusual accident of another text, but coda here is just optional. And the fourth or the last aspect of anecdote text is language feature. In anecdote text, there are four language features. The first is using exclamation word, the second is using rhetoric question, the third is using action verb, the fourth is using conjunction of time, and the fifth or the last is using simple past tense. So let's move to the first language feature. The first is using exclamation word. Using exclamation word here is, for example, it's awful, what a bad day, a very strange accident. So there are the kinds of exclamation word. The second is using rhetoric question. Using rhetoric question. Using rhetoric question here is, for example, did you know what? Did you know that? Or can you imagine? Or it's a very shame, isn't it? There are examples of rhetoric question. And the third is using action verb. Action verb here is a verb that you can feel by the fifth sense. For example, go. You go with feet, walk, or eat. You eat by mouth. Or write. You can see write. You can see me writing. And the fourth is using conjunction of time. Conjunction of time here is, for example, like then, afterwards, before, after, or ever since. And there are so many kinds of conjunction of time. And the last is using simple past tense. This is one of the most important language feature in ANECDOTE text. Because why? So here, next to the example of ANECDOTE text, the title is Snake in the Bath. So, how would you like to find a snake in your bath? And yes, you want to. We had just moved to a new house, which had been empty for so long that everything was in a terrible mess. Anna and I decided we would clean the bath first. So we said so, and turned on the tap. Suddenly, to my horror, a snake's head appeared in the plug hole, then outslithered the rest of his long, thin body. He twitched and turned on the slippery bottom of the bath, spitting and hissing at us. For an instant, I stood there quite paralyzed. Then I yelled for my husband, who luckily came running and killed the snake with the handle of the broom. Anna, who was only 3 at the time, was quite interested in the whole business. Indeed, I had to pull her out of the way, or she'd probably have leaned over the bath to get a better look. Ever since then, I've always put the plug in firmly before running the bath water. That's all my presentation or explanation of an text.